Well, I've really enjoyed speaking here. As you can hear, I've been speaking because I can hardly talk. It's been a fantastic 2.5 hours. I was thrilled at the audience. I mean, there was no seating space. People were in the aisles. I was overwhelmed by it. And I'm very emotional about Como and comON. I've been coming to the city since 1978, I think one of the first Idea Comos, and certainly all the Idea Bielas, whether they were in the Villa d'Este or they were in the Villa Erba. And what I think sad is that Como, once upon a time, was the capital of silk. You mentioned silk, and you thought of Como. And you mentioned design, and you thought of Como prints. And you mentioned color, and you thought about Como dyers. It was so magical in those days. And of course, life doesn't stay still. The challenge came from cheap Budapest silk. The reputation of silk was ruined, etc., etc. And what happened was that Como was a community, like Biella, like Prato, like Vicenza for jewelry. Italy is built on families, but it's also built on community structures. Now, I'm not going to criticize Como. I think it's a shame it fell apart. It's a very normal reaction that people look after themselves, their technicians need money, they go to Turkey, they go to China, etc., etc. But the world is changing. We are coming out of a global market, buying everything from computers to suits in China to what I call design fundamentalism. That is returning to what does made in Italy mean? What does made in Como mean? At the same time, we've got a whole new sense of community. The world wants to go back to belonging and to working in communities, whether that's just growing vegetables together or supporting a local market. But the thing is, we are going back to patriotic purchasing. When things are tough, we are saying, I should support my own country, I should support my own town, I should try and keep the employment going here. I want an active, vivacious Como. What I'm saying is that this, combined with the fact that 5 years ago, the new people wouldn't look at textiles. It was an old industry. The sons wouldn't follow the fathers. There was no security. They'd rather be engineers, architects. But everywhere today, there is no security. And since we're moving into what I call a creative world in the West, where our money is having ideas and creating products, and we're leaving all the rest, the accounting, the banking, the industrial left side of the brain, to cheaper outsourcing, it is great that the youth comes back to textiles. There is a future in textiles. It's not of a scale of Hennes and Mauritz. It's at the scale of local, small, individual, lesser quantities, the way people want it to be different, to give people something which is not cloned and I can find in every high street. Now, if this community spirit, which is growing as a social thing of belonging, can be combined with the Italian creativity, which needs to be rediscovered, with a re-understanding of the pride of being part of Como, to be Comaschi means something again, plus the new drive of young designers at comON who don't look at product in the same way as me, which is price, 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 where does it cost, how can I deliver, but seeing creativity in a whole new way, growing up in an internet way, internet exchanges, networks, understanding do-it-yourself, doing things in a completely different way to I was born at, then I think comON, and most important of all, Como and the community of Como can be revived. And I think it can happen. It just takes goodwill and teamwork.